Hi guys, and welcome to lesson 13, and we're going to be rounding decimals. Now I think it's been a little while since we've done any rounding, so I thought I'd give you a chance to brush up on that skill. In a moment I'd like for you to pause this video, and can you work out what each of these numbers would be? So this top box above, I need you to make sure you're rounding those numbers to the nearest 10. And then all the numbers in the bottom box, you need to round those numbers to the nearest 100. Right, pause and then click onto the next slide for the answers. Best of luck. Okie dokie, well you might have recognised that the first one has already been done for you, but we can see here we've got the number 43, and on the number line we mark it here at 43. Now we can see that it's actually closer to 40 than 50, so 43 rounded to the nearest 10 is 40. Right, number 76, you can see on the number line that we mark it just here, and we can also see that closest 10 would be 80. So I put in here 80. Fantastic. Right, number 3, we've got the number 28. It would be marked along here, 26, 27, 28, and we can see that to the nearest 10 it's closest to 30. And then last but not least, we've got number 59. And 59 on our number line would be here, and we can also see that to the closest 10 it would be 60 and not 50. Brilliant. I hope you found that straightforward. Right, moving on, we've got 457. Now we know that it's going to have to come somewhere here on the number line. Now halfway between 400 and 500 is going to be 450. Because we've got 57, we know that it's actually going to be closer to the 500. So I'd give it a little ring there. Okay, 743 on the number line, I'd say roughly somewhere maybe here, and we can see that it's actually therefore going to be closer to 700 than 800 because it is below 750. Right, 368, I'd say roughly around here. We can see that it's therefore closer to 400, especially being that it's past 350, so that would be the answer. And last but not least, we've got 127, and we can see on the number line it would probably come somewhere here. Now because it's below 150, which is a number between 100 and 200, we can see that 127 is actually closer to 100. Right. That was the easy part. I'm hoping that's kind of woken you up a bit, got your mind remembering how to round numbers. So let's start learning about how to round decimals. Click along to the next slide. As always, let's start with our InFocus task. We've got a group of children here that are going to be tackling it. Let me first of all introduce you. We've got Amelia, we've got Betty, we've got Chris, and we've got Dylan. Now, Amelia says, okay guys, I'm going to challenge you. Who can draw a line that is 3 centimeters long? Now, obviously they all start thinking, well, that's obviously going to be quite easy, Amelia, but she's actually going to be hiding the fact that they cannot use a ruler for now. They've got to try and envisage what 3 centimeters is going to look like as a line and just draw it the best they can. Dylan says, oh, let's see whose line is closest to 3 centimeters long. Dylan is clearly adding a little bit of competition to this. Anyway, we're going to be clicking along and we're going to see how each of the children managed to work out this task. We can see here that Betty has drawn her line right here at the top in green. Now they get a chance to actually measure how long Betty's line is, and they get to use a ruler for this. So you might be able to even see how long it is. Dylan then says, oh, well, I can see that it's actually 0.9 centimeters long. Betty agrees and says, well, it's kind of actually about 1 centimeter long, if I'm just kind of rounding it. They agree that 0.9 is approximately equal to 1. Remember, it's not exact, so we can't say it's equal to, but we can say it's approximately equal to 1. Now we're going to be learning a new symbol of how we're going to be writing that as a number sentence, which you can see down here below. 0.9 is approximately equal to 1, and the symbol would be here, look down here. It's almost like a wiggly, wavy equal sign. Now that is representing that it is approximately equal. So please remember that as we click along to the next slide and figure out how the rest of the children got with this InFocus task. Right, let's see how Chris got on with the InFocus task. So you can see at the top that he drew this line and they were able to then measure it using a ruler, so it's much more accurate. And we can see here that Chris's line is 2.4 centimeters long. Now Amelia then says, oh, well, actually, it's nearer to 2 centimeters than it is to 3 centimeters. Remember, 2.4 will be rounded to the nearest centimeter, would be 2 in this case. So really, it's about 2 centimeters long. So 2.4 is approximately equal to 2. And remember, we've learned that new symbol on how to write that. So we would put 2.4 is approximately equal to 2 using that wonderful wiggly, wavy, non-equal sign. Right, let's see what the next child got up to. Okay, let's see how Dylan got on with his task. So you can see at the top that Dylan has drawn his line here in light blue. They then measure it using a ruler, and if you have a look along, we can see that Dylan's line is actually 2.6 centimeters long. Now Chris then also says, well, 2.6 centimeters is actually going to be nearer to 3 centimeters than it is to 2 centimeters. We can see that here because it's also past the 2.5 centimeter point, which is halfway. So they can say that 2.6 is approximately equal to 3, and we now know that we would write it here using that approximately equal symbol. Now it's Amelia's turn, the last person to have a go at the InFocus task. You can see her line here at the top in red. They then measure it and wow, actually Amelia has managed somehow to draw her line and it is exactly 3.5 centimeters long. Dylan therefore says, well, it's exactly between 3 centimeters and 4 centimeters. Now, when something lands on the halfway point, it will always be rounded to the larger value. So we can say that actually 3.5 is therefore closer to 4 centimeters. So down here, we would know that we would write 3.5 is approximately equal to 4. And we now know that we use that wonderful new symbol. Right, let's just click along and see what else we have in store. So it's now guided practice time. You're going to get a chance to work some of these out independently. But let me first read you the question so you're very clear on what we have to do. So for question 1 of guided practice, it's asking you to express each measurement as a fraction and as a decimal. Now don't panic, we're definitely going to be getting through this with ease. I have all my faith in year 4. So let's have a go at question A together. Now we already know that here you can see there's a nail that's being measured, and is anyone able to help me with that? Oh yeah, we can see that it's probably going to come here on the ruler. Now we've been told that the length of the nail is 4/10 in centimeters, or we would be able to write that as 0.4. Now remember, for this particular question, if we're looking at the centimeters, for every 1 centimeter there'd be 10 tenths. Now I know it's a little bit tricky for B and C because it's hard to see some of the actual measurements. Oh, there's D down here as well, sorry. Please make sure that you have a go and try your best to kind of zoom in and see what the values are on each of those pieces of equipment. I want you to pause the video now and I want you to have a go at completing what you can of questions B, C and D, and then click along to the next slide for the answers. Best of luck. Right, don't worry if you couldn't see everything. I know it was a bit unclear. This is the problem with getting these textbook clippings and putting them onto PowerPoint, but don't worry, we're going to be talking through them. So we already worked out question A together. We saw that if we were measuring that nail along the ruler, we would see that it would be around 0.4 centimeters, and we also know that that would be the same as writing 4/10 centimeter. Now the volume of water, we can see here that we've got a litre measuring jug, and if I were to count along, I would see here that the level of water is up to 0.8 8 litres, and we would write that as 8/10. Now this one's a little bit trickier because of course we've got more water to deal with in question C. So we can see we've got 1 full litre container, and then we've got here another little bit of water in the second container, and we can see that we've got 1 6/10 of a litre, and that would be written as 1.6 as a decimal. Now this one I know is a bit tricky because it was really hard to kind of see it, and these numbers looked a bit confusing. However, this fish, the mass of the fish should I say, is actually 2 2/10 of a kilogram. So this is where it says 2 kilograms, and we can see along that it's 2/10 along, and we know that we would write that as 2.2 kilograms. Now, like I said, don't worry if you didn't manage to fill much of it out beforehand. I'm hoping that you were able to follow it when I discussed it in this slide, and you've been able to see how we would work that out, writing both fractions and decimals. Let's click along for some more guided practice. Question 2 of guided practice. Let's have a listen to what we're being told to do. So it says up here, read each measurement exactly and then record it to the nearest whole number. So this is where all of your rounding practice is really going to come in handy. Again, I know it's slightly blurry, so please try your best. But if you actually read the information, a lot of the times it's telling you what you need to know. So question A, the book weighs 0.7 kilograms exactly. Now, can you now tell me what 0.7 kilograms is approximately equal to, and fill out the missing blanks? I'm going to ask for you to pause this video now, have a go at completing A, B and C, read everything as carefully as possible, and when you're done, click along to the next screen where you'll be able to find out the answers. Best of luck. Here are the answers for question 2 of guided practice. Let's look at A. So we were told that the books weigh 0.7 kilograms, and you can see it just here on the scales. I'm hoping you were able to also see, although it was blurry, that 0.7 is approximately equal to 1 kilogram. And we can see it's actually closer to this 1 kilogram here. So the mass of the book is about 1 kilogram. Okay, question B. The length of the paperclip is 2.9 centimeters, as you can see here on the ruler. Now we can also see that 2.9 is approximately equal to 3 centimeters. So the length of the paperclip is about 3 centimeters. Let's do the final one, question C. The volume of water here, now this is a bit tricky, you've got to read it very carefully. Lots of people got a bit muddled because they were thinking that these were going up in ones, they were going up in twos. So we had all the way here to 1 litre, and then we would know that this would be 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, and then 2. So the volume of water is 1.2 litres, and we can see here that 1.2 is approximately equal to 1. So the volume of water is about 1 litre. So I'm hoping that you're finding that that's been quite straightforward and that you're ready to now go ahead to your workbooks. Please can you turn to pages 25 and 26 and complete the worksheets for today's lesson. Remember, really look carefully at all of the values, especially on the different apparatus, whether it's scales or a ruler or a measuring jug, and please read the questions very, very carefully, showing all your workings out and remembering to write the date. Best of luck, and we'll catch up with you later.